Hi guys, it's Lisa Wright, and you're welcome back to my Anxious Speaks podcast. Happy New Year, every single one of you that are listening to this. I am so happy that you are here with me this new year. Super pumped, super excited for this new year. Like, I know it's going to be amazing. It's 2022, and I feel like I'm getting way older than I should be, but I'm not even going to comment on, my age factor right now. I'm just super excited that you guys are here listening to this. I will go straight into our topic for the day, baby steps. And the year has started. We're starting out with a lot of New Year resolutions, setting goals up and down, and trying to make our lives better this new season. And it is amazing, to say the least, because I started out the year really pumped, and that has been, it had been going for me well for let's just say a few days, but it brought me back to thinking something. So I had an experience. I almost fell sick a few days ago because I put my body into clutch and grind mode. And, I was feeling so pumped, this year I must do Fit Farm. I must have an organized routine, daily routine and everything, setting out everything, change some habits. And, I'm sure every one of us somehow has some ideas of how they want their year to go. And that's a beautiful thing. But, something that I was forced, yes, I say that rightly so, forced to realize was that we need baby steps. And you need a lot of endurance. January has 100 days. January is slow. This January, for some reason, is not as slow as previous Januaries, but it is still slow. And it's taking its precious time. I don't mind it. It should, but still, it's giving me a lot of time. But at the same time, I feel like I don't even have enough time. So I now looked at the year. I just sat down and then I was looking at the year, and I'm it came to me as more of a marathon. And, the realization hit me after, I was considering something on endurance. And, how to initially started with money, because figuring out how to make money last from beginning of January to January day 100, right? But while doing that, I'm still making plans for the year and everything. And then I realized that I was looking at the year in short term rather than long term. Now, that if you're someone who follows sports, or if you're someone who did inter-house sports in secondary school, you would know that you cannot run 100 meters race the way you would run a marathon. So if you picked Usain Bolt, who is the best at, sprint races, 100 and 200, and you put him in a marathon, he most likely won't be the best there. And reason being that for sprint races, you need a burst of energy. You can use a shorter burst of energy to finish a sprint race. So you start out with a lot of speed, and you'll probably be the best. But in a marathon, if you start out too fast without the right endurance, you will be exhausted before you get to the end of the race. And visualize, if you start out running somewhere really fast, at some point you get tired, and you just be huffing and puffing and that kind of mentality is going to make a huge difference when you look at the year. Instead of looking at it in January, February, March, short bursts of one month, why don't you look at it in the bigger picture? And I say this because I had a huge burst of energy at the beginning of the year. I had set out my routines, things that were going to change, and I started out with my routines. Mind you, I had been somewhat a couch potato for the last 1 year. Reasons best known to me. But I wasn't really an active person, sha. And this year I want to be an active person. I want to do more workouts. I want to, attain some body goals. Reasons, again, best known to me. So I'm trying to do all these things, finish some online courses, and setting my daily routine straight. But prior to this, I never had a daily routine. So I'm trying to build something from the ground up. And for one, that takes discipline, that takes consistency. A lot of these things that I did not, put into the mix at first. But another thing that I forgot to, put into the mix was that it's going to be hard, and it's not something that I can accomplish in one day. I cannot automatically make myself used to a daily routine in one day. Neither can I build like a fit body in one day or a week or a month. I cannot live a healthy lifestyle just in one day. And because like these things have time factors, it would take time to build. I did not factor in that. So I was, pushing for 100 every day. And trust me when I say my body did a complete shutdown on me. I did a full-on workout for 7 days straight. And on the 8th day, which was the day that I actually planned to rest, I almost could not get up from my bed. My whole body was tired, my joints were crying out in pain, my head was aching, my muscles were tearing, they were ripping from the inside out. It was a very, very painful experience. I talked to my friend about it, and of course she's because she's a fitness expert and everything, and she's you have to set out some days to rest, because I think that night, I just it's my rest day, yes, but then I just wanted to do maybe one thing or two things, just to keep myself active and everything. And I sprained my wrist. Yes, busybody. But I was telling her about it, and then she's you're meant to rest, take some time off and cool down and all of that. And then in my head, I'm I want to rest, but then I don't want to rest. I want to keep going. The adrenaline rush is there and everything. But, because my body has decided to do a shutdown, I was the most unproductive for some days. And let's say 2 or 3 days, I was unable to do anything. I finished, getting all hyped and excited. And then, now I'm so unproductive. I'm not able to complete my daily, I was beating myself up for a lot of things that I wasn't able to do, and, I'm still trying to break into my routine, get used to, I have to do this every day. There were set things that I put in place that I had to do every day. But because I had programmed myself to go big or go home, that was my idea. So it was either I was going to do it completely, I wasn't going to do it at all. And, that kind of puts me in a very soft space, because I was beating myself up for not, you should have seen the routine that I set out for myself. I felt I wasn't even doing enough. And then, I showed my friend, and of course she's a fitness expert, so she was that she even wanted me to add some more. So me, I felt to an extent, I wasn't even doing enough. But I didn't, put in perspective that my body isn't used to this kind of rigor. So it was obviously going to be a while before I could get used to, doing these over and over again. That's now where baby steps come in. Allow yourself learn. You are teaching yourself things. You are trying to break some habits. You're trying to build better habits. You're trying to build a routine. Take baby steps. You are literally training yourself to get used to this. When I look back, and then I'm I was actually thinking, because I'm habits were not built in a day. Things that for me, I consider habits, they were not things that I did once and then automatically they were etched into my cerebral cortex or whatever. So they took time to build. They took time, and I had to learn the hard way to take time, to take baby steps, to do it one at a time. So for my workout routine, I had to cut down some things, because to an extent it was actually a lot for someone who is just getting into the exercise space. It was a lot. And then it brought me back to something my pastor said. He said that he was talking about how he was moving, and then he saw his old workout weightlifts and in his house, and he said they were small compared to what he lifts now. What for me, when I remember that, what clicked was that he started small. He didn't just walk into the gym one day and lift 100 kg. He started with as little as 3, 5. He slowly built it up to where he is now. And that's one thing we forget. The growth process starts out small. The baby steps matter. The baby steps matter. And that was one thing that in all of this I had to continuously remind myself. The baby steps don't nullify the huge steps that will come later on, but the baby steps build you up for the huge steps that you will take later on. Yeah, this conversation just came to my head. I remember last year I was talking to my friend about building habit, and he was telling me about how he was reading a book on habit building. I can't remember the name, but one thing that said that actually still struck me is, I'm going to shatter this table. You want to build a skincare routine. You don't need to throw away all your soaps and replace them with all these oils and body butters and whatever. The simple solution for you might just be to change your pillowcase. That pillowcase that has been on your bed since last year, just change your beddings. Get a cleanliness, be clean. I feel like that's what's hindering some people's skincare. It's not, you're not using enough oils. No, wash your face, take a bath twice a day. The huge steps that you want to take will be built on, minor steps. It is the little baby steps that build a foundation for the bigger steps in the long term. So look at the bigger picture. 1 year goals, 5 year goals, 10-year goals, in fact. So when you are looking at the baby steps you are taking, look at the progression. It will build up. Don't just go in and be like, oh, you want to make a huge change, because that huge change will not stand if it does not have a foundation. Some basic foundations that you need are just consistency. Just remembering that you have something to do every day. Literally just waking up with that sense of urgency that, today is going to be different. Today is going to be better. Today, mind shifts, minor page shifts for you might be the foundation that you need, not necessarily overhauling your timetable. You don't just walk into a gym and pick up the 100 kg weight. You don't just want to do 2 hours of exercise. On your first day, you want to exercise, and for the first time, you want to do 2 hours. Guy, build consistency. And finally, I'll just say this, know why you are doing what you are doing. Know why you are building what you are building. That why factor is very, very important in keeping you consistent. Building basic things like commitment, discipline, consistency, they will take baby steps. They will take small steps that, by the time you come up, let's say years from now, and then you are looking back to how you started, you will remember that you started small. You want to build a saving culture, start small. You don't have to drop 100k in a bank account before you've saved. Accept the baby steps and build on them. Be patient, and I will see you in our next episode. So, bye guys.